My name is Dr. Tammy Wong Holbert, and I am the curator of Becoming Home, Stories of Chinese Australians. Through conversations with the Maroondah team, we wanted to look at an exhibition that we could look at the Chong family history along with the Chinese Australian community in the wider Maroondah area, and also recognising that the Chinese Australian community has actually grown significantly in the last few years. So we wanted to be able to bring those two aspects, the different generational voices, together into one exhibition. It's a shared history, and we hope that people would gain a better understanding of the diversity of voices in the Chinese Australian community, and also understand that there's actually a very long history of Chinese Australians in Melbourne. The Chong family are significant because they're a family that actually arrived here in Australia in the Victorian Gold Rush period, and Chek Hong Chong was the first family member to actually purchase land around Croydon. Subsequently, that piece of land actually was subdivided and became Chong Park as we know it today. So with the exhibition, the way we developed it, we did always intend it to be a collaborative process, and I actually worked with Seeing Joe, who is a multimedia visual artist, and also Ai Yamamoto, who's a sound artist. And the three of us worked with each of the participants to develop materials for this exhibition. But we also worked with two members of the Chong family, Leslie Lowe, Ni Chong, and Paul Chong, and also worked with their materials that were from their private family archives. There are two very well-known physical spaces that are connected to this exhibition, Chong Park, which is a major sports ground in Croydon, and the other site was the Chong Wildflower Sanctuary. And learning about that history of that place was really interesting because of it being still preserved today as it was by the Chong family.
My name is Seeing Joe. I produced all the video works and the silk print installations. We have 4 Mandarin-speaking immigrants living Ringwood, and we have also 2 descendants of Chen family, Paul and Leslie, interview. So the video is sort of trying to capture who those people are using video images, but at the same time try to capture their voices and stories.
那我的最核心的生活理念是什么呢？也可以说是我的人生观和价值观。我愿意做一个自己快乐健康，并给更多人带来快乐健康的快乐姥姥。
So in the video, you don't see them talking. It's very much as if you see a photographic portrait.
The hill that my grandparents, great-grandparents lived on was called Cheong Hill. And this was all covered in orchards, right from Eastfield Road right over to Mount Dandenong Road.
And Cheong Hill was one of the highest spots in Croydon, and certainly had great elevated views.
So I guess in this way, I give space for people to imagine who they are.
Besides English, I also speak Mandarin, Cantonese, and Hakka. So I'm going to use these 3 languages to introduce myself in one sentence. 我叫林嘉文，我來自廣東，我係客家人。
The silk print are the photographs I took in the Chong Wildflower Sanctuary. So the idea of this was from the thoughts of or questioning about the connection of these migrants with the land. I'm using Chinese newspapers as a background for those photographs. People used to use newspaper to protect the little sprouts. So I just feel like if you put this kind of newspaper in the background, sort of suggesting a protection, like a nurturing environment.
The other thing that we found really fascinating through this process was that the Chong family actually did have a special connection with Walter Burley Griffin, who was the designer for Canberra and a very well-respected architect and urban planner. And what we found was really interesting, that Walter Burley Griffin was actually commissioned to redesign the orchard to become the garden suburb. We called the exhibition Becoming Home, and we were interrogating this idea of the process of some place becoming someone's home. And behind this, we had this really interesting history around a whole process of turning a whole orchard into a suburb, which would potentially become other people's homes. And they are other people's homes now.